All right. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all here. My name is Ezra. I'm the Director of Outreach and Training at VPLC, and I'm going to be your host. We have a wonderful guest who's actually done a coffee chat or two before, Cassie Edner, Public Benefits Attorney here at VPLC. As you may have noticed, I just clicked record. So this is being recorded. I will put this up on VPLC's YouTube channel either later this week or early next week. I will be sending out a follow-up email to all registrants with that link. So don't worry about that. You will get that sent to you. And I will also be sending you any and all resources that Cassie talks about this morning. So it's a very quick coffee chat. We'll try to wrap up around 9:30. Always feel free to come and go. Please get your coffee or tea or whatever beverage you have. I certainly have my coffee and my I love my dog mug, who is right next to me. But without further ado, if you have any type of technical issues or any questions for us, feel free to put it in the chat. You can always directly message me. I'm always happy to help, and I'll be here in the background. Well, with that, thank you so much, Cassie, for joining.
Thanks, Ezra. And I see quite a few of my LSNV friends here. So I will say I don't think you can see it, but my LSNV mug. So representing from them too. So today we're going to go over school lunches mainly. During COVID, many children were able to get free lunches without having to fill out an application. Congress did act to keep some waivers in place for the Keep Kids Fed Act, but unfortunately this didn't include free school meals. So this means that some children will be losing their free meals this school year, and others will need to submit a school meal application. Now, there are multiple benefits to submitting a school meal application. You can get some discounts on exam fees and college applications, some scholarship opportunities, and I'll discuss another program later that you can actually get help with the cost of Wi-Fi if you're receiving free or reduced school lunches. Now, the good news is over the last several years, Virginia has passed some really good laws related to school lunches. One of the big ones is the community eligibility provision. There was a recent law that requires schools that have 40% or more of identified students to apply for the community eligibility provision. And this has changed Virginia's landscape drastically with school lunches. What the CEP does is, if you are in a CEP school, is all students, no matter their economic background, can receive free school lunches. You don't have to submit that free application. So that's great news for those schools. So those schools can just continue on doing what they need to do. There are hardship exceptions for schools that can't afford to apply for the CEP, even though they are above 40% of the identified students. And what that means for 40% of the identified students is if the student is receiving SNAP or TANF, or if they're homeless, runaway, migrant, Head Start students, foster students. So it's another reason to support having eligible people apply for SNAP benefits to get those school numbers up so that the school division can be a CEP school division. So the good news is a lot of our schools are CEP school divisions. So there's nothing that those individuals need to do. The students are going to get their free school lunch anyway. Now, there are some school divisions that aren't CEP division wide. So it's practical terms, if you're looking at a county, some schools in that county are going to be CEP schools, meaning that students don't have to apply for free meals. But some students that go to other schools may have to apply. Now, I don't have an exhaustive list because there's roughly about 50 schools that aren't school division-wide schools, but I do have a list of the larger school divisions that may need to still submit that application. There's Albemarle, Alexandria, Arlington, Charlottesville, where I live now, Chesterfield, Fairfax, Falls Church, Roanoke County, Spotsylvania County, Stafford County, Virginia Beach City, Williamsburg and James City County, Prince William. So those are just a few schools divisions that aren't division wide. Again, there are schools in those divisions that are CEP eligible, but many individuals that may be applicable for free school meals may not live in the area that the school is CEP. So it's important that those individuals do apply for the free school meals. So I've tried looking for the free school meal applications, and it's harder than you would think to find some of these. The good news is Voices for Virginia Children is coming out with a list of where to find these applications next week. So we will circulate that around. So that way individuals can look at what schools or what school divisions don't have the full CEP and where you can find that application. We've also had some really good changes to the free school meal programs. Besides the CEP, some other protections that we've had, our schools are now barred from discarding meals of students unable to pay. So in the past, we unfortunately have seen or heard the stories where a student isn't able to pay and the school puts the lunch in the garbage instead of feeding the child. Fortunately, they can no longer do that. And there's also a ban to shame sandwiches. So you heard, before, if you couldn't pay, you might get a sandwich instead of having, the ability to eat the meals that everyone else is eating. So now individuals the schools are required to provide meals to all students, regardless of the ability to pay. So these are some, really great things that are going on in Virginia to make sure that students are, still being fed if they can't pay. But it's still important, like I said, to get in that application if you are eligible for school lunches. There's a really great federal bill coming up. It's called the Healthy Meals, Healthy Kids Act. And this was introduced by Chairman Bobby Scott of Virginia. And it does some really great things. It increases WIC eligibility. So I think we all are unfortunately aware of the rising cost of food, in Virginia and in the nation. WIC is an underserved or underutilized benefit that many children up to the age of 5 may be eligible for, that they're not taking advantage of. It offers milk, some, trying to remember, fruits and vegetables. The Virginia Health Department has a great infographic of what individuals are eligible for on WIC depending on their age. And unfortunately, we don't see, children, especially between 1 and 5, are underserved, but those benefits could help people make up for some of the costs to the rising cost of groceries. So after giving that background, what this does is the Healthy Meals, Healthy Kids Act would increase the WIC eligibility up to the age of 6, or when a student starts school. And the reason that this is great, oh, thank you so much, Ezra, for putting that in there, is those children that aren't quite school age, but are, 5, 6, they can then still get the support they need until those school lunches kick in. It also gives the USDA authority to issue waivers during federally declared emergencies. This would have been great during COVID. Many of you probably have heard, whether Congress was going to act to, they're not. This is just a bill that's out there, and something just to put on your radar that it is it got out of committee now. So it still needs to be voted on, but this is a really great bill. So hopefully people that are able to support it can support it. If your LSC restrictions, maybe in your private time, you can, call your congressperson or your state senator about this bill, because it's really great. And it gives the USDA authority to issue waivers. What I was discussing previously is, you might have heard, the waivers weren't the waivers weren't granted until kind of the last moment in the summer, when summer meals were already going on. So this would prevent having to wait on Congress to act. A great thing is it allows Medicaid direct certification for free school meals. Now this is really great because SNAP participation in Virginia is lower than what we would like it to be. It's 72%, I believe, is the last numbers I've seen, where the Medicaid participation is a lot higher. So if we could directly certify through Medicaid participation, that's less school meals that needs to be school meal applications that need to be filled out. It reduces the threshold for that CEP eligibility from 40% to 25% of identified students. Again, that means more school divisions would be eligible for the CEP. It also would allow states to create a statewide CEP option. It increases the reimbursement rates for school meals. So hopefully that would help reduce, some of the school meal debt that schools are seeing. It has a lot of these rules that we discussed about shaming for not being able to pay and debt collection for school meals in it. That would help a lot of individuals. And it also has a nationwide summer PBT. So the last few summers during COVID, certain children were able to receive a PBT benefit that helped cover the cost of their summer meals while the school wasn't in session. Again, grocery prices are really high. So this is a really great tool to get those individuals through the summer until the school starts again. I did miss something when we were talking about changes that have already happened in Virginia. And I apologize. So this change has happened in Virginia, not this summer at PBT, but they no longer have reduced meals. All meals in Virginia, if you're below the threshold for the meal applications income limit, are free. So prior to this year and before COVID, if you were above the free meals but below 185% of the federal poverty level, those school meals were given at a reduced price. Now, if you're below 185% and you submit an application, all of those meals will be free. There's a question on the language on the debt shaming. Healthy meals, healthy kids. I can get that to Ezra. And they can send it out when they send out the email. Is that okay, Ezra?
Totally.
Okay, cool. We also at Virginia Poverty Law Center have a school checklist that Ezra will also be sending out. Hopefully you Ezra doesn't hate me for all the things that I'm asking them to send out. Oh, they also put it in the chat, so that's great. So like I said, the ensure your child is signed up for free school lunches, that's on there. One of the things that you should also do is ensure that the child and family has health insurance. We have a great team of navigators called Enroll. They're part of Enroll Virginia, and they help people see whether or not that they're eligible for health insurance. And we have the number on there, and they're great. They're throughout the state, so you can get in-person assistance in your area, and that number is there. I cannot say enough good things about them. Make sure that the child has all the necessary vaccines and physicals. If there is domestic violence in the family, you want to make sure that if there's a valid protective order against the other parent, that the school has a copy of that protective order. And also to ensure that the school has an up-to-date custody order or power of attorney on order for the child. I'm going to talk about two other public benefits that I think are helpful for individuals that have, one is helpful for individuals that have children. The other is probably just helpful for individuals that have Wi-Fi and need help with that Wi-Fi. So check to see if your family qualifies for a discount on internet. There's a new program out there sponsored through the federal government that allows individuals with income below 200% of the federal poverty level, or who participate in certain public assistance programs, such as SNAP, Medicaid, those children that have free or reduced school lunches, including the children in the CP schools, to receive a discount of $30 on your internet. There's the link on how you can learn more about that. And I believe Ezra's gonna show his screen so we can see that checklist. So this is the checklist. Ezra, do you want to add anything else that I failed to mention?
Just because I got one question directly sent to me about if this is live on VPLC's website yet. It's not. However, we do plan on, I think it's actually going out today. We're going to post on social media this information and then link it to our website. So it should be going out today, if not tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that.
And Ezra, could you do me a favor and scroll down a little bit? We also have free helplines here. So I've already talked about the Enroll Virginia. We have an eviction helpline, with the funding for rental assistance running out, that might be beneficial to some individuals. We have a predatory loan hotline, a utilities hotline, and then we also have the local legal aids hotline. So if you need more in-depth counseling, you can contact your legal aid and see if you qualify there. I personally saved the SNAP helpline for last because that's the one that I run. There's been great changes to SNAP over the last several years. We got rid of the drug felony ban. We also have broad-based categorically eligibility, which means that gross income limit for SNAP benefits are now 200% of the federal poverty level. So that's a huge increase. And we have a helpline that we can help individuals apply or see if they're eligible. We also have a SNAP calculator. Again, if you're eligible for SNAP benefits, that could actually help your school if you're not in a CEP school district by helping, raise that to the 40% of identified students. So it kind of goes hand in hand with school lunches. Okay, thank you, Ezra. And the last thing that I'm just going to touch on briefly is there's currently a childcare subsidy program that was introduced during COVID. If you have a child under the age of 6 and not in kindergarten, and if you're actively employed or engaged in job search or meet other criteria, individuals might be eligible for help with their childcare costs, which in Virginia is a huge cost. It's huge, as probably a lot of you already know. And the great thing about this program is it goes up to 85% of the median income. So that's a lot higher than looking at federal poverty levels. So a family size of 4, that would be about $7,412 a month. And you just have to prove, there are other requirements, but as far as citizen requirements, the child has to be a citizen or legally residing individual. So this is something, that won't affect your school age children if you don't have children under 6. But it will pay for your child under 6, help with that child care subsidy. And then also, if you have a child under 6, it might even help with the school age children up to the age 12. You can apply for that through Common Help, the commonhelp.virginia.gov. I think I got that right. You can do that through the DSS phone call center, or you can also do that through your local DSS. And that is all I have. I know there was a lot of information there. Oh, yep, I got it right. Thanks, Ezra. Does anyone have any questions?
And while people are potentially typing some questions, I just wanted to say, for all of the stuff that I am putting in the chat, I'm going to send in my follow-up email that you'll get next week. So don't worry about having to save things. If you forget a link here and there, don't worry about it. You will get it via email from me.
There was a lot of links and resources in there, so thank you, Ezra.
All right, I'm not seeing any questions at the moment, but I do want to say, first of all, thank you, Cassie, for all of that really great information. You always have a lot to go over, and I'm always impressed at how you manage to handle all of that information in such a short amount of time. So thank you for doing that. Thank you to those, of course, who join our coffee chats. We love doing these. And also, if you have a particular issue area or something you'd like us to talk about in a future coffee chat, I would love to hear from you, because we want to make these really important and customized to what your needs are and what you'd like to hear about. So if you do have some idea for a future coffee chat that you'd like to pitch to us, I'm putting in our general Center for Outreach email address. You have also gotten an email from me on there. It's edoutreach@vplc.org. Send me an email. I would love to hear from you. And I see one question sent to me about, will the links and numbers and attachments be included on YouTube? So I can't put attachments in the description, but what I can do is I can put all the links And then eventually, probably either today or tomorrow, I can also link, for example, the back to school checklist because it will be on our site. So everything should be able to be in that description. It just might not be on there right when the video is uploaded. I plan on uploading this later today. And we probably won't have all of the resources that we want to share with you all until next week. So it might take a minute for those to get put on there, but I can do that. Cassie, do you have any last parting words before we let folks finish up their coffees and go about the rest of their week?
No, I mean, just good luck getting through the rest couple of the days, and we're almost to the weekend, so have a nice weekend.
Yes, we are. Awesome. Thank you again, Cassie, and thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you at the next coffee chat.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.